Good morning to you crazy creeps. It is very foggy this morning. How the heck are you crazy creeps? Whether you're tuning in morning, afternoon, or evening, I do appreciate you guys being here. Today we are starting the morning out on this very foggy Springwater corridor. We got the Creeper Cruiser ready to rock, and we are heading down the Springwater corridor to something that I thought was really awesome. We're heading into Clackamas, Oregon today. It's going to be kind of a journey, but we are going to visit the final resting place to a very big and also very small famous gentleman that was once in the movie The Wizard of Oz as well. So stay tuned. We're doing some creeping. Yeah, took a few days off just because the weather here was so crummy. And as you guys can see, it is very foggy this morning. Can barely even see 100 yards or so ahead of me. But we are heading to Clackamas, which is nice because the Springwater corridor does turn into another path that we can take. And we are heading there now. I'm excited for this one. Definitely a huge fan of a few things that this gentleman accomplished in his life, and there are some folks out walking this morning already. Morning. You guys are brave out here.
Yeah.
All right, stay tuned. All right, we made it pretty far. We're in Clackamas now, and I'm checking out this mural here at this bike shop called Fat Bikes, and it's Audrey. Look at that. That is incredibly awesome. Heck yeah. Alright, we have made it all the way from Gresham to the Mountain View Cemetery. Got the Creeper Cruiser, and now we're off to find a very special final resting place. The cemetery, a little bit longer of a cruise than I thought it would be. Kind of eerie this morning, yet very beautiful as well. So we are looking for section I, and once we get a little closer I'll tell you guys more as to why we're here. Yeah, first time here as well. I've been to pretty much all the cemeteries now in Portland, Oregon, Clackamas area, surrounding area. So, all right, here is section F. I might actually have to turn around. Pretty this morning though. As you can see, it is still very, very foggy. And we are here today for something really special. And the more I kind of went down the rabbit hole of information, the more incredibly awesome I thought this gentleman was. Now, I'm not going to tell you guys his name until we actually get to the grave, because I want to kind of surprise you guys also with his nickname. But this gentleman was only a little under 3 feet tall and accomplished a lot for a little guy. Did a huge amount in his life, and he is buried here in section I in Clackamas, Oregon, here at Mountain View Cemetery. So we're going to kind of narrow it down. I know he is in block 1, so we're going to kind of check the maps that I was able to kind of find online as well and see if we can find him. But if you guys remember such things as Barnum and Bailey Circus and The Wizard of Oz, a good 15 minutes by myself, I was able to find one of the awesome maintenance workers. Thanks again so much. And he actually directed me to the grave of none other than Mr. Charles Chesterfield Howerton, who has a lot of significance, did a lot in his life. And mostly what he is remembered for is he was actually one of the Munchkins. That's right, from The Wizard of Oz. You remember with Dorothy, Toto, the Tin Man, Cowardly Lion, everybody? He was actually one of the Munchkins from the original movie that was one of the trumpeteers. And he also toured with Barnum and Bailey Circus as a circus performer, and was really good friends with a lot of other like circus, you know, I guess you would say freaks, or, you know, people that performed through the circus. He was friends with Robert Laudo, who was, or Waldo, I can never pronounce his name, but the world's tallest man, and the world's shortest man at the time was this gentleman right here, who is buried right here at the beautiful Mountain View Cemetery, and that is Clarence Chesterfield Howerton, born 1913, passed away in 1975. I believe he lived to be about 62 years old, and he was a little under 3 feet tall, coming in at like 2.5 feet tall, but his size never, you know, let him dictate what he would accomplish in life, and that is, you know, circus performing and being in that movie. And he's buried right here in Portland, Oregon, which I thought was so cool. One of my all-time favorite movies, Wizard of Oz, pretty much a Hollywood classic film, and this guy was in it. He actually did a lot for the city of Oregon City, Clackamas area throughout his time here, involving in a lot of activities and always doing a lot for his community, being involved in a lot of the, you know, parades and activities that the city would and still does to this day. But yeah, there he is, Clarence Howerton, an original Munchkin. I love that. Clarence was born on February 9th of 1913, and he grew to only a mere 26 inches tall. And he was known for, you know, his role in that movie and other things that he accomplished in his life, traveling mostly with the Ringling Brothers and Barley and Bailey Circus. He did land a role in that 1939 film, and that is just so cool that he has the Oregon connection and ties here. We represent the Lollipop Kids. He was actually not one of the Lollipop Kids. He's actually one of the original trumpeteers. I'll actually insert some pictures of him as well in the movie, and then also some information that I found of some of his, you know, circus buddies and friends that he would tour with over the years. He became really good friends with a lot of those folks, so I'll go ahead and enter some of those pictures now as well. But yeah, that is just so cool that he's buried right here at this cemetery. And if you guys want to come up and pay your respects, you basically enter over here and follow this street over here to, I believe it's Edwards Road, which runs along here, and he is actually buried about 4 rows back from the fence here. Just to give you kind of a reference, there's this set of trees here that kind of run along the beginning of this fence line here, and if you just come down a few back from the sprinkler, he is laid to rest right here in Clackamas, Oregon. He was always so dapper too. All the pictures that I found of him, he was always wearing such really cool attire. And I know folks dress differently, a little bit more dapper and stuff as they would casually today, but he was always so decked out in such nice attire, and his hats, and he carried a little cane with him. He just looked so cool. I just really like the fact that, you know, he was a famous person and was so small, but held such a big, you know, honorable thing in his life to be able to become one of the most successful movies ever made. I thought that was just so incredible. 2 foot 4 inches tall in 1913. He was actually billed as the smallest man alive, and became friends with a lot of other circus performers. I actually found some pictures of him, and I believe it's Robert Waldo. I can never remember his name. But yeah, he was really good friends with a lot of the other circus performers that he toured with in his life. And I actually found some really cool pictures of him with them. And it's funny because in all the pictures, he's so little, but he did so much in his life and had such a big, you know, effect on people that he was larger than life, even though he was only a little under 3 feet tall. At the age of 10, he joined the Ringling Brothers and Barnum and Bailey Circus as their main attraction, and it was the largest of its kind with over 800 performers and 1,000 animals. And only at 10 years old, he was extremely popular, and he was billed the smallest man in the world under the name Major Mite, was kind of his moniker. And it had previously been used by a comedian in the 1900s. but he kind of took on that role because of everything that he did. Such a larger than life act. Yeah, pretty darn cool. And also there was some pictures of him with not only the world's tallest man, but the world's largest woman that I found as well in 1922. He posed with one of the world's largest women. And he was also paired with, you know, other folks, the big baby elephant, the human atom, and a couple other, you know, really known circus performers, and they would kind of board together and do their shows. By 1940, he was living with his mother in Manhattan, and his occupation was described as an exhibitionist in a circus. But in 1941, he registered with the Clackamas County Labor Board located in Estacada, Oregon. His registration prompted the board to state, "We believe we have the smallest registrant in the United States." And this announcement was given, vastly comparing to other sources. The height of 3'6" and 52 pounds. His last performance was for Colbros in 1948. He retired from the industry in 1949 by the age of 35, and by 1970 he moved back to Oregon and was living with his niece in a small town, no pun intended, of Dayton. And on November 8th of 1975, he passed away, unfortunately, from the flu. All right, I just want to say one final rest in peace to Clarence, and what a cool guy, and to be so little yet so big at the same time. Rest in peace. All right, that's gonna do it from the beautiful Mountain View Cemetery here in Clackamas. I love you guys for always tuning in and creeping with. Rest in peace to everyone buried here. Make sure you guys hit that red subscribe button if you haven't already. You can ring that bell, that way when I creep, you guys will be the first to creep. Creeper out for now. Peace. Again, Section I, Block 1, Row C, Grave 20. If you guys want to come up and pay your respects, please be respectful of the cemetery grounds. But yeah, Wizard of Oz, Ringling Brothers, pretty big accomplishments for such a little guy. And I love that. I think that is just so incredibly cool that you don't let anything in your life dictate what you can do, whether it's your height, your weight, anything. He was always successful, and I love that.